We now know Nebraska's 2024 schedule, the dates. And let me tell you, it's a great schedule. I mean,
great from the standpoint of,
okay, August 31st, home against UTEP. It's the first time since 2019 Nebraska will actually open with a non-conference game.
I'll be damned.
So that's
in Lincoln.
And UTEP's not good.
In Lincoln.
And UTEP's not good.
No.
I mean, you're not playing BYU here or
Right.
somebody like that. I mean, it's a great game to open. Then you have Colorado in Lincoln, September 7th.
Big.
Then you got Northern Iowa on September 14th in Lincoln. Then the fourth game, Illinois conference opener, home game in Lincoln. So your first four games of Matt Rule's second year, home games.
Wow. They did catch a break at Purdue.
And then you're at Purdue September 28th for your first road game. Very manageable road trip.
Yep.
Now that you wonder, could that be a Friday night game? Or could, there's a potential of a Friday night game on
Yes, it could.
Rutgers comes to Lincoln on October 5th.
Okay.
Great matchup there. Then you get a bye. It's a 2-bye year, by the way.
You get a bye, and then you go on the road.
Then you get Indiana on the road, which is obviously Tom Allen may or may not be there. That's a winnable opportunity on the road. Then you go to Columbus for your by far toughest game of the season, more than likely on paper. For the Buckeyes
for sure.
October 26th
by far.
Then you get UCLA, the West Coast boys. Hey, let's come to Lincoln on November 2nd and let's bring some 20-mile-an-hour north winds and maybe some snow.
Isn't that a day where you hope for rugged weather?
Yes.
Matt Rule, let's be clear on that. That's not Sipple and Sean just talking. Matt Rule likes it that way. He wants Nebraska to have that advantage. He gears practice towards it. I think they'll want gray, miserable, 25, maybe 15 degree with wind chill. That'd be perfect.
So then November 9th, bye number 2. And some people ask this question, why are there 2 byes?
Yeah, why is there 2 byes?
2 out of 7 years, there's 14 Saturdays between Labor Day and Thanksgiving. Then the other 5 out of 7, there's 13. So we're on a run now where there are 14 Saturdays instead of 13. So when there's 14 Saturdays that fall between Labor Day and Thanksgiving, you get 2 bye weeks.
Sean, you could be a travel agent, and sometimes I wonder you might be able to be a TV executive too.
But it's a great deal for inventory. And there's thought that, hey, why not just make it a 14-week season every year and put on the years where there's not the 14 Saturdays between Labor Day and Thanksgiving, play a week earlier, play week 0.
Okay.
And give the 2 bye weeks.
Yeah. Make the season longer. One thing I think a lot of college football fans would like is a longer season.
Stretch out the inventory into early August. You get a bye. Then you go to USC November 16th.
Tough. You don't know what USC is going to have either, by the way. I mean, is Lincoln Riley going to be there next year? I don't.
Caleb Williams will be gone.
Yeah.
November 23rd, Wisconsin and Lincoln.
Okay.
I mean, is what it is. And then Black Friday, Iowa. Boom. I mean,
you're right.
What a man. I mean, they're all going to be hard schedules here, but this is about as good as you could have hoped for.
If you're a Nebraska fan, and I just wonder what the reaction in the football office was when they saw this. I doubt there's outward reaction, but inward, I bet Matt Rule's like, okay, all right. Year 1, come on, year 1, he walked into a beautiful situation schedule-wise, right? Wouldn't you agree? Year 2, this is about as good as you could have gotten. It's literally about as good as you could have hoped for.
So I'm looking at USC.
And by good, I mean manageable.
So UCLA's only November road trip to like the traditional Big Ten is Nebraska. Their other November road game's Washington. So that's a break. Nebraska gets UCLA and Lincoln in November. That's the only time the Bruins travel east in November. USC, Nebraska gets to go out there. Nebraska is the only team that will play a conference game in LA against USC in November. They go to Washington on November 2nd, and then they go to UCLA on November 23rd. So like the way it matched up with these LA teams for Nebraska, they got a really good setup there.
They did. And it's a fun schedule for the fans. I mean, you get what I'm talking about. It's if you're just not going to the games, if you're just a viewer, you get the Ohio State and USC games. And if you're a traveling Nebraska fan and you have the means to go to every game, I mean, a season at Ohio State and at USC, I mean, you're going to historic venues.
Like, think about this for Oregon. On November 2nd, Oregon plays at Michigan.
Oh.
On November 16th, Oregon plays at Wisconsin.
Oh. See, that's the other thing about this new Big Ten. These matchups are incredible for fans. They're incredible. You're going to get Oregon, Wisconsin regular season games.
On November 2nd.
Yeah.
Think about this one. Washington on November 9th travels to Penn State.
Regular season. That's unreal. That is, I mean, come on. That's television ratings heaven.
Now,
right?
One thing that jumped out to me, there are no week 1 Big Ten conference games this year. Like, there's
2024.
So there's week 2. Maryland, Michigan State plays week 2, but that's it. Then in week 3, you get one November. You get UCLA, Indiana.
Okay.
So they've kind of done away with forcing so many week 1 games. And I got to think there's a lot of pushback on that because you kind of sabotage your team's seasons with a week 1 loss.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody wants to kind of get their ducks in a row before they play conference games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, all you got to do is think about the impact it's had on Nebraska.
It's killed Nebraska.
Right. The last 2 years. Well, it didn't kill Nebraska this year, but it impacted their season profoundly, right? Because with a win in that game, we're talking about something a little bit different.
No, USC and UCLA don't play on November 30th. I would guess that USC must play Notre Dame on that weekend still. That's usually when they would play them late in the year.
What's Michigan, Ohio State?
Michigan and Ohio State remains the same weekend.
Okay.
So you could have a repeat of that game.
Mm-hmm. In the title game.
I would think, though, in a 4-team or 12-team playoff era, you don't want that. Let them just play once, and if they're both playoff eligible, fine. You don't need to replay that game again. 2 weeks in a row.
But what alternative do you see?
Well, there's probably going to be another team pretty close to them. I don't know how the tiebreakers and the standings, but you're right. They're going to have a pretty. Are they going to go off the playoff poll, or is there going to be a lot of tiebreakers that they have to determine who's that second team that gets in the title
cross
game?
That bridge, Sean.
But yeah, good schedule for Nebraska.
Real good.
About as good as you could have asked for the Big Red. When you look at how things line up, it's going to be exciting. This new Big Ten is going to offer a lot of fun Saturdays moving forward.